The Rogues Roost Wilderness Area was established in the waning days of 2015 by the province of Nova Scotia. A protected area with over 18 kilometers of coastline that features the granitic barrens that the Chebucto Peninsula is known for. With almost 3,000 acres total area, the terrain ranges from swamps, some with water, up to your waist, granite exposures and boulder fields, stands of conifers and alders, beautiful lakes, barrens as far as the eye can see, and, if you're able to reach them, outstanding coastlines with breathtaking views. Some would say these coastlines are more easily accessible by water, and they'd be right. The area is a playground for watercraft, ranging from kayaks and paddle boards to small boats. But from the cliffs that rise above, you gain a view and an appreciation for the terrain as a whole that you're not able to see when you're down below. Access to the wilderness area is inconvenient at best. The most public entrance is at the cell phone tower near White's Lake, but it deposits you into a swampy morass and a thick conifer forest. The second entrance, certainly the easier to get to, and deposits you to more interesting sites in the wilderness area, the one off Niceview Drive, closer to Terence Bay. The only problem with this entrance point is that you do have to walk up a private road, and there's really no parking available other than at the end of the road.
It's gonna fucking pour onto me.
Regardless of your entrance point, one thing to know is that there are no marked trails in the wilderness area.
Down there,
Trails, for what they are old ATV trails that roam and wander in complex and bewildering fashion through the expanse of Rogues Roost Wilderness Area. I strongly recommend that you do your research before you head out here, as while overall navigation is fairly simple, considering there are several high-profile landmarks such as the 2 cell phone towers, 3 windmills across the way from Terence Bay that you can see from almost everywhere in the wilderness area. You're going to need a good idea of where you're going if you want to be able to reach anything interesting, and more importantly, to be able to find your way back out. Over the course of the summer and early fall, I made 3 separate trips into the Rogues Roost Wilderness Area. The first was on a foggy day, July 29th, 2017. I entered the wilderness area from the north side at the cell phone tower off Terence Bay Road.
Some evidence that humans have trod here.
My goal that day was to reach the Rogues Roost Overlook, a journey of approximately 14 kilometers there and back. I came up a bit short. I'd been following a trail that I found on a trail peak, I believe it was, and when it came to a turn towards the end, I went to the right instead of the left, and I found myself embedded in an alder thicket and the trail vanishing beneath my feet. After fighting through the brambles, I decided it was best to turn around and head for home rather than push on.
Well, I can't imagine I look too good. I just stopped here on the trail. Had a snack and a rest for about half hour, 20 minutes. Bailing on the trail. Down over in the valley yonder there, I got fucked up something in terms of reading the lay of the land. Ended up in alders and just couldn't move, so bailed on that. It's about 12 o'clock now. I've only been out here for 4 hours, but feeling it. I'm gonna have to resupply on some water, and some pretty shit water too. One of those little creeks I came in on. But I'm heading back out the way I come.
I discovered later that night when I returned home and was laying in bed exactly how difficult it had been traipsing through the swamps in the northern part of this section of the wilderness area, as I suffered some pretty severe leg cramps for my troubles that day. My next trip to the wilderness area was several months later, on September 30th. My girlfriend Shauna and I made the trip to the Rogues Roost Wilderness area in order to go to Shellbird Lake and look at Sorrow's End, the granite outcrop that hovers and looms above the lake. The other purpose or reason that I wanted to go on the trip on that day was I wanted to scout for the possibility of a second attempt at Rogues Roost Overlook. I knew that I could access it from the Nice View Drive area, as I've been spending my time since my first journey looking over Google Maps at satellite photos of all the ATV trails. By comparison to the first trip I took to the wilderness area, this was a walk in the park. After enjoying the lake shore for a while, we headed back in the direction we came so that we could pick up the side trail that would lead to the top of Sorrow's End. This trail was a lot less traveled and was mainly used by the local climbers as they made their way to the rock face. On our way up, we took the opportunity to go into the front of the cliff area, right at the edge of the lake. It's a wonderland of stones that one can climb on, caves one can venture into, and sharp-edged granite rocks that litter the area below the cliff from rock falls years gone by.
And Boulder is putting that mystery box down there where I had to go look at it. But only Boulder, somebody climbs would put a box in there full of medical supplies and be like, oh quick, go get the box, we need it in a hurry.
After our time spent below playing on the rocks, we resumed our trip up the side of the hill. When we reached the top, we were rewarded with breathtaking views stretching for miles of Terence Bay, Back Bay, and even as far as the Rogues Roost Overlook. It was a truly spectacular place, and I can only imagine the exhilaration the climbers must feel as they climb that steep granite slope. After a long time of enjoying the view and peering over the edge to the lake below, we returned along the same path to our car. Along the way, I was able to scope out the path leading west towards Rogues Roost, and that would be the target of my third trip. The following Friday, on October 6, I embarked onto my third trip to the Rogues Roost Wilderness and a second attempt to reach the Rogues Roost Overlook. In order to prepare, I'd spent quite a bit of time in Google Earth and had traced a route through the ATV trails that I could see on the satellite imagery that I was pretty convinced would get me to the overlook. Of course, with the satellite images, not everything is always apparent, and there were a few challenges and issues that I was sure to encounter along the way. One area that I was a bit concerned about being able to traverse was the drainage area that ran into Back Bay. On the satellite images, I was able to tell that there was at least a small channel of open water there, and I really wasn't sure what the conditions would be when I got there. No matter what had happened, I guess I was going to get my feet wet or figure something out when I got there.
And, Jesus. So this is the trail
I retraced my steps from the previous week until I reached the side trail that headed west, hopefully towards the overlook.
So this is a problem I thought there was a fairly good chance I'd run into fairly quickly, which is that's a swamp. There's another trail over there I'm going to go check out and see if it runs along some of them ridges at least. Let me keep my feet dry for a little bit. Just got to get over there. So I'm hopeful there's a way to get over there. Oh yeah. This may lead us to a little bit of a shorter route through this shite. I either try to stay on the rock when there's no lichen on it, or none of the crispy lichen, as I call it, the black stuff. It takes forever for that to grow. Or on the ATV route. So, my problem with ATV trails is they suck. Coastal barrens, man. You gotta love them. They're so beautiful. A little hateful, but beautiful. I think that's actually the fourth lake. Blackbird or something like that. I can't remember. There's houses just on the other side of that ridge there. And that's the valley. If you see all those trees, I'm a little leery about how the fuck I'm going to get across, because there is a stream that feeds in through that valley that we got to jump over, and it looks swampier than shit on the map, but we'll see. Nice quiet little spot here. Fuck, yeah. So here's the bay. And Jesus. Oh, I don't know, boy. Step there, then where though? This would have to be a proper ford right there. There's rocks laid down for it. There. It's a really pretty little spot. Wish it wasn't here though, to be honest. Because this means shoes that are a bit more than just wet. It means shoes that are soaked. Wheel now. Alright, I guess we go for it, eh? Alright, so good hill on the other side. Glad I took my shoes and socks off, because it turned out that water a little bit deeper, and it looked up to about mid-calf, which we might be doing real soon. I'll re-garb after I make a decision about what I'm doing here, see how hard it is to get through this. So I just come through there and found this. That there is a beautiful baldy. Oh, I wish I had the other. I should have got the other camera out, but I don't want to scare them off. Big freaking baldy, man. Big baldy. Come over, check me out. I might get shit on by a bald eagle. He's wondering, is that boy dead? Is he for eating? Yeah, I might get shit on by a bald eagle. God damn. Never been shit on by a bald eagle, been shit on by pigeons. Been shit on by seagulls. Been shit on by, I think, sparrows. But I've never been shit on a bald eagle, by a bald eagle before. It's crazy beautiful. Geez, you can still see Sorrel's End from here. My 2 cell towers, my 3 windmills, and my orange house. So that's the nice thing about being out here, is you're never, as soon as you get to a high point, you know exactly where you are. It's just so. We're gonna go up there, take a peek.
So after walking bog and granite for 3 hours, I was ready to ascend to the Rogues Roost overlook.
Really glad to be standing here. This took me 2 separate tries to get, and it's not too often I don't finish a hike, but this one's tough for me. It's a challenge and it's fun. So, yep, that's my reward right there. You can see it from the top. You can see it from the bottom. Now I just got to get that other thing done and see it from the water.
And I did get that next thing done and see it from the water the very next day, thanks to the kindness of some new friends. The Rogues Roost Wilderness Area in Terence Bay is a wonderful place, and I'm so glad the government chose to protect it a few years ago and make it into a wilderness area. I had a great time this year exploring the entirety of the wilderness area. There are still lots of adventures to come. I still need to travel down south of Rogues Roost Overlook towards Shannon Island, and I may even go explore the Great Muckety Muck and swamps in the north. In any event, it'll be good times in the future too. I hope you had fun, or at least a little bit, watching me slog through it.